Howdy, this is Butch. I blog at PoseidonAwoke.wordpress.com. You can follow me on Gab, at Butch, and I have a podcast on SoundCloud, Butch Leghorn. Today I'm going to talk about the three estates of the realm. I first learned about this topic from neo-reactionary circles, where they had this concept of the trichotomy. They recognized that there were three main groups in neo-reaction. Spandrell kicked off the discussion on his blog Bloody Shovel, and then Nick B. Steves coined the phrase the Spandrellian trichotomy. I like to visualize the trichotomy as a triangle, with 2 points on the bottom and 1 point on the top. The Spandrellian trichotomy consists of three groups: the religious traditionalists, the capitalists, and the ethnic nationalists. The way I visualize this is the religious traditionalists at the bottom left of the triangle, the capitalists at the apex of the triangle, and the ethnic nationalists at the bottom right corner of the triangle. After some wrangling, the corners were renamed theonomists at the bottom left, techno-commercialists at the top, and ethno-nationalists at the bottom right. Let's look at the trichotomy as visualized by Nick B. Steves. The theonomists valued tradition, patriarchy, family, natalism, natural and divine law, and they label the tendency as shared religion constitutes tribe. So it's religious. For the techno-commercialists, money and markets rule, rights of capital, technological, efficiency, globalist. Their tendency is what the hell is tribe? For the ethno-nationalists, ethnic consciousness, tribal solidarity, distrust of outsiders, their tendency is shared ethnicity constitutes tribe. This trichotomy seemed right to me, and I started digging into it, and I discovered something called the three estates of the realm. I thought it was important because the three estates of the realm has been known since the Middle Ages. In the three estates of the realm, the tripartite social order is split into oratores, those who pray, bellatores, those who fight, and laboratores, those who work. Going back to the Spandrellian trichotomy, those who pray are the theonomists, those who work are the techno-commercialists, and those who fight are the ethno-nationalists. In modern parlance, we hear people talk about sometimes the media as the fourth estate. They're referencing the three estates of the realm when they call the media the fourth estate. The idea of this fourth estate, of course, is that the media is independent, but we know that this is a lie. The fourth estate, the media, is actually nothing more than an extension of those who pray, the oratores, those who speak. I document the progress of my thought through the Spandrellian trichotomy and to this three states of the realm in my blog post, Significant Triangles. I also link another political triangle that I found on the internet that I thought was interesting, which also points in this direction. The point of all this is that the neo-reactionaries discovered the trichotomy independently, and then I made the connection to the ancient three estates of the realm. This leads credence to the idea that this three-way division of our society is fundamental. Now let's tie this into biology and see why it is that this three-way division is so fundamental. My last video was about left versus right, and I outlined the genetic cause of the conflict between left and right. The left is dysgenic, while the right is eugenic. Essentially, the left is female and the right is male. I have another post on the Propertarian Forum called Rock, Paper, Scissors, and Fascism, where I use Kurt Doolittle's work. He uses the trichotomy extensively. If we label the trichotomy using his labels, the bottom left triangle is the female, the top apex of the triangle is evolutionary, and the bottom right is the male. There are three ways that you can coerce someone to cooperate with you. The first is to use the female method of coercion, which is to gossip, to rally, shame, ostracize, to use voice in order to control those around you. The evolutionary method, the techno-commercialist method, the libertarian method is remuneration, to use systems built around money to create incentives to get someone to cooperate with you. The male method is to use violence. Law is violence. Law is male. The way law works is you set a boundary, and if someone goes outside of that boundary, then they receive violence until they get back within the boundary. Understanding that women use voice, rally, shame in order to mind control, and that men use violence in order to control the body, then we see that mother is totalitarian and father is authoritarian. The totalitarians want to control the way you think. That's what mom does. The authoritarians want to control what you do. That's what dad does. This is why political correctness won't end, because it has to positively control where the mind goes, what the mind thinks. And this is why the right is what we call reactionary. If you think about a referee in a game of some sort, the referee doesn't tell you what you should do while you're within the rules of the game. But when you break the rule of the game, then the referee steps in. Because it's the job of the referee to place limits on the actions within the game to make sure that they stay within the rules, then the referee can only react. That's his job, to wait until someone steps out of bounds and then react. This is what the reactionaries do. The reactionaries place limits. They place boundaries. Another conception of the three estates of the realm is the church and the burghers, the merchants, and then the aristocracy. The church, of course, are the theonomists. They are essentially female. They use voice and mind control. The burghers, the merchants, the libertarians, they use evolved means of production, and they seek to produce. The third estate, the aristocracy, places boundaries. They are the rulers. They make the rules. They guard the walls. Within those walls, you play by their rules. You play their game. They are the referees. They are the judges. The monarch, the king, is the top judge. The three estates of the realm are occupied with three different types of production. The females are engaged in the production of the future. They are engaged in reproduction. Their production is the production of the next generation. The merchants, the burghers, the libertarians, the capitalists, they are engaged in the production of goods which are going to be consumed by the females. And the aristocracy is engaged in the production of defense. They are engaged in creating walls, in creating institutions which defend the reproduction of the women and the production of the burghers, which provide the resources to the women. The females have the shortest term outlook. The baby needs food now. The baby is crying now. The baby needs warmth and clothes today. The libertarians, the capitalists, they have a midterm outlook. They see, okay, we have to produce, the fields need to produce next year. We need to sow this season so that we can have more for next season. They think in the next few years. While the aristocracy has the longest term view. They are planning for the long-term future. They understand that some of the production of the merchants has to be invested. It has to be stored. It has to be saved for a long-term future. So what do we see today with the progressives? For the progressives, any attempt to save anything reduces their ability to consume in the short term. Whenever they see a warship, they think, gosh, how many children could we have fed with that money? The merchants, the libertarians, see the taxation. They see the portion that the aristocrats take in order to build their defenses. They see that as an imposition that they want to be rid of. This is the position of the anarcho-capitalists. They don't want to pay for defense. They just want to produce and keep what they produce. That's why they're constantly going on about the evils of the state. While the conservatives are male. They are interested in defense. They are interested in kin selection. The progressives, the females, they want all their children to live. This is dysgenic. But the conservatives, they want the best to live. They understand that if they were to continually pour resources into the worst, that they'll just continue to get more of the worst. And eventually the system will collapse. For this reason, the conservatives are eugenic. The left, the progressives, are female. They're interested in taking care of their children, of their babies. That's how they think. They think like women. The libertarians are young males. They're interested in producing so that they can get women to reproduce with them. The conservatives are the judges. They are the older men of the tribe who are interested in the long-term survival of the tribe. All three of these divisions are evolved. All three of these divisions are important. We cannot crush the left because the left is our women. The libertarians can't crush the state because the state is the walls that keep them safe from the barbarians. And we cannot allow the women to consume everything in sight to pay for their dysgenic reproduction. That should do for an overview of the three estates of the realm. I hope this will get you thinking about the biological nature of the politics that we are engaging in. The trichotomy and the three estates of the realm are not arbitrary. They are genetically determined, and all three are necessary. We have to balance the 3 points of the triangle. That's how we build the future.